This is the Saab-105. It's a premium rank 5 battle rating 8.3 strike aircraft for Sweden. Notice how I didn't say the OE part at the end. I don't know how to. Last time I tried to say something I didn't know how to pronounce, several people in my comment section were not happy with me. Anyway, the Saab-105 is just not very good. Most of your kills are going to come from people who are fully distracted or tunnel vision on someone else, people who are slow, or people who are like AFK. Oh yeah, and I guess you can get kills on bombers pretty often with the missiles because you do get two of them, two RB-24s, which I'm pretty sure in-game are the exact same thing as AIM-9Bs. In fact, they might be the exact same thing in real life. I have no idea. But yeah, they work on people who are slow, and I guess they can get people to turn sometimes. But you all probably already know that AIM-9Bs are not exactly reliable ways to get kills. You also don't have any internally mounted guns, so you have to carry these two giant gun pods that hang under the wings along with the missiles, and that's something only the premium Saab-105 can do, is carry both the missiles and the guns. The one in the tech tree, you have to take one or the other. But other than that, I'm pretty sure the planes are exactly the same. And neither of them are very good. Actually, you know what's really funny about this plane? I swear it's one of the most polarizing planes in the game, because there's literally like one side who thinks it's like the best premium ever, and there's the other side that thinks it's like absolute complete dog shit. Pretty sure all the people that like this plane are just the diehard Swedish fans, because there are a lot of them in this game. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, but it is just kind of a funny observation. And to all the people that have been asking me to make a video on this thing for so long, I'm sorry to say it's not very good. There are a few different reasons why I think it's not very good, but the biggest one is the fact that it just doesn't turn. It's like 7 Gs max, and that's like it. It just does not want to turn. Now, obviously, I know turning performance isn't everything, but this thing also doesn't do much else. From my perspective, the only thing that makes this thing bearable is the fact that it has like solid energy retention, and you do get an air spawn, which is very helpful. But also at the same time, you're at the battle rating where you're going to see MiG-15, MiG-15 BIS, you're going to get up tier to 9.0 to see LIM-5Ps, MiG-17s, F-Sabres, and hell, if you get fully up tier to 9.3, that means MiG-19s, because if you remember, those just got moved down to 9.3. Hell, you can even get up tier to see the MiG-21 F-13. And then there's comparing it to all the other planes at its own battle rating of 8.0, 8.3 range. Things like the F-86A, and then of course the LA-15, which is always a scary plane if it's in the right hands. So really the Saab-105 is kinda outclassed. However, just like every single other not so great plane in the game, you can make it work. But if you get into a bad spot and you have to clutch anything up, it's not easy. Anyway, I have had a few good games, so I guess I'll show you some of that. Oh yeah, did I mention this thing has an air spawn? The fact that it gets one makes it much more enjoyable to play, that's for sure. Anyway, starting out this game, there's an F4D who wants to go head on with me. Now these guns, remember, don't get tracers, so he didn't see those rounds coming, and who knows if he even would have dodged if there were tracers, because, you know, a lot of people take head-ons. Unfortunately, the F4D doesn't die to that, but you'll see why in just a second. Take some shots at this A4, get a crit on him as well, but he shoots one of his AIM-9Bs, and I was very confused on how he got a lock on me, and then I noticed right here. He got a lock on the F4D that was directly behind me that was on fire, so I got an assist on the F4D because the A4E team killed him with the missile. Not gonna lie, I thought it was pretty funny when it happened. Anyway, the A4E actually starts turning for me, which is good for me because it's an A4, it's gonna bleed a lot of speed when it gets slow. Now, I mentioned this a minute ago, the 105 has decent energy retention, it's just, a lot of the time it doesn't matter that much because, as you see there's a LIM-5, he's not committing for me, which is good, because if he did, I would probably die. Really, when there's that, MiG-17s, MiG-15s, your energy retention isn't gonna matter because all those planes do that, but better, and then everything else better too. Anyway, right now, just because I have altitude over the people below me, it's like the only reason I'm actually able to get these two energy trapped, because if either of them started with more speed than me, you know, I would just be a dead man. And as you can see, like I said a minute ago, this thing does not turn that well. I'm going almost 600 now, and there's not even a G warning popping up on screen. Luckily, it turns just enough to get my nose in on the F9, F8, get a kill on him. Now, the LIM-5 and the A4E from a second ago both pulled off and ended up going towards the center mass of players in the middle of the map, which is great for me because I'm above pretty much all of them, and you pretty much, like, need the altitude in this plane if you actually want to reliably get kills. I don't remember exactly how many games I've played, but I've got like 70-ish kills since I started playing this, and every single time I've been in a disadvantage, whether it be altitude or speed, I've pretty much died. Anyway, the LIM-5P looks like he's a little focused on my teammate in the Javelin, and I'm gonna line him up with an AIM-9B, and as he's changing directions, good time to fire, shoot one off, and it's actually gonna track like more than I expected to. Sometimes AIM-9Bs do that to where it looks like they track better. I'm sure they track exactly the same, but I don't know. AIM-9Bs are kind of weird. Anyway, glad the LIM-5P is dead because that's one of the best performing planes in this match. Actually, probably the best performing plane in this match. Anyway, now I gotta figure out who I'm gonna kill next. There's a Sabre and an F3H Demon right below me, both of which are slow. They both seem a little bit distracted by my teammate in the Swift here. Trying to line up an AIM-9B on this Sabre, but I don't get a lock because he's not really pointing his tail at me. Start lining up some lead to take a shot, but I wait way too long and then kind of scuff the aim a little bit. Get a crit, but I don't think he immediately goes down. Coming out of that dive, I'm pretty fast. I'm really trying to get this thing to turn. The 105 is doing its best. But once a little bit of speed is shaved off, I start pulling that absolute crazy load of 7 Gs. And then right about here, I notice this A4 coming for me. I try to pull in as much as I can to take the long range head on, get a little shot off, get very lucky and get the kill. I really shouldn't have taken that head on in the first place, but got lucky and it worked out. Missile off in the F3H because he's slow, and that's another kill right there. Start chasing down the Sabre that I hit a minute ago, but I mean, I'm in a 105, he's in a Sabre. I'm not going to catch that. Teammate has a missile off on him anyway, and that's actually going to end up killing him. After he's dead, I kind of just end up flying around for a minute, waiting to see who else pops up. Teammate ended up hitting a blind hunt, and turns out the G91 isn't too far behind me, so I don't have to wait around for very long. Trying to turn around, this thing doesn't turn all that well, so it takes forever to do so. And once I do get turned around, I'm going to take some shots, maybe get lucky like I did a minute ago. Unfortunately, I don't, and now I've got to figure out what to do about this. Luckily, I have a teammate nearby, so it's going to make things a whole lot easier, because fighting one-on-one in this thing is extremely difficult, and now that the G91 has to deal with more than one person, actually 3 of us, a MiG-19, me in the 105, and an Su-7. He's not living through this unless we do some really stupid stuff, and he's like absolutely cracked somehow. He tries taking a head on with me, and I didn't realize he got his nose around so quickly in the moment. I kind of thought he was going to go below me, but he got his nose in very quickly at the last second, so that's why I didn't pull off when normally I would have. He's turning a whole lot, which, you know, when you're turning a lot, you're obviously going to lose a lot of speed, especially when you're trying to 1v2 a MiG-19 and a 105, like, he's boned either way, especially against a MiG-19, dude. Like, Lamau, I can see a MiG-19 and a Saab-105. Anyway, he's sort of flying straight now. I'm just going to try and follow, eventually try and get close to get a shot. He turns, I start pulling lead, take some shots, and aim for once in my life and get a kill. I swear I whiff easy shots like that all the time, but it's funny, for whatever reason with these no tracers and the velocity of these guns, for some reason I can aim these better than most other guns, which is really funny because I feel like everyone talks about having so many issues trying to aim these guns, but for whatever reason my brain is geared for the lead of these guns. I don't know what it is. Anyway, a couple seconds later, another G91 shows up from their side of the map flying directly towards me. Once he gets closer, a couple head-on shots, because why not? And really the answer to why not is because I don't really have much ammo left, and I didn't really realize that until now. Oh yeah, and speaking of aim, I know I was just saying I like actually know how to lead these guns, but you're gonna see I completely forget in the next kill. Anyway, it looks like he caught the MiG-19 off guard, and he gets a missile off on him and kills the MiG-19. Looks like the MiG-19 was trying to farm AI, which I get it. Need the Silver Lions or research or whatever. Fast forward a little bit, the Su-7 ends up catching up to him, which, you know, obviously it can because it's an Su-7, it's supersonic, and the G91 is very much not. G91 is chasing the Su-7 now, basically going to give me a free shot, but like I said a second ago, I'm eating my words now because this is like the easiest shot in the world, and I just completely whiffed because I put too much pressure on myself because I don't have much ammo and I'm already lacking on fuel. So I'm already overthinking my aim more than I normally do, which I already do on every shot anyway. And again, he's gonna fall right in front of me, try and like tap him out of the sky, and it doesn't work, and then he gets all rolly with it. I try and get all rolly with it too, and that doesn't work, so it's time to go back up. Luckily I had more speed than him, and he's not gonna be able to follow that. If he does, he's dead to the Su-7 anyway. I thought he was gonna pull off, but I guess he changed his mind and then wanted to fly back towards me. I guess he's gonna try and pull in a shot, or at least thought he could probably try and pull in a shot, but that's not gonna happen, and he rolls in front of me. I kinda don't get the lead in, didn't predict where he was going properly, and now I gotta go back up again because I obviously don't want him to end up right behind me, and if he did end up behind me, he could probably just sit there and I wouldn't be able to do much about it. So let's prevent that from happening in the first place. Also, the Su-7 is still around, which makes this immensely easier, so he's not only focused on me, but he's focused on the Su-7 as well. He tries pulling in a head-on with me again, just gonna stay out of his guns again. And I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, trying to keep my speed and altitude relatively high, because if it ends up low and he ends up matching my speed and altitude, that would be unfortunate because that plane's much more maneuverable than mine. Although I have to admit, I don't know much about the G91s. I played the R4 like 2 or 3 games, and I think I ripped every single one. That's mainly on me though, because I have like zero discipline when it comes to thrashing my airplane around. Anyway, this G91 is very, very slow and is going to give me a free shot. And now I'm super paranoid about my aim because I've missed a bunch of easy shots. So I get very close and then literally tap him when I'm almost touching him. And that's going to wrap up a 6-kill game, which in the Saab-105 in a full up tier, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm sure you guys noticed, but pretty much every single one of these kills I didn't really have to work that hard for, but that's because that's the way you kind of have to play the 105. You got to play on people who are slow, play on people who are distracted, and you really got to be situationally aware because you don't want a MiG-15 or a LM-5P or a Sabre or any of those things to end up behind you. Or hell, in an up tier MiG-19. You don't want to deal with a MiG-19. If a MiG-19 ends up behind you, or hell, even if he doesn't end up behind you, you just have a MiG-19 in the area that knows what they're doing, you're not going to win that. Alright, now I'm going to show you a game that didn't go so well, or at least the end of a game. I have no idea what happened to the recording to the first part of the game. I thought I had it, but apparently I didn't. I don't really remember what happened anyway, so whatever, I guess. At this point in this game, it's 1v3, 1 MiG-15 bis and 2 G91s. And as you can see, the MiG-15 bis has all of the altitude in the world, and this is not good. This is not the position you want to be in the Saab-105. If this was earlier in the game and I had teammates around, yeah, I could kind of fly away. Maybe the MiG-15 bis would go for some of my teammates, but that option is not present because I'm the only one alive. Also, I'm not going to follow him up here because I would end up in a classic by-the-book energy trap where I'm stalled out and he can just point his nose down and kill me. But either way, he has the speed and altitude and the better plane. I should not win this whatsoever. But to be honest, mentally at this point, I know I'm going to die. I just am going to try to, I guess, force an overshoot or something. But every time I would try, this guy would fly past and wouldn't even let me get my guns on target because this guy seems like he knows what he's doing. After all, he is a MiG-15 bis, and a lot of bis players are, at least I think, a little bit more competent than most other planes that people use. It's kind of one of those planes that a lot of the better players flock to, and it makes sense. The thing's really good. It's one of the best 8.7s. And now at this point, I have 2 G91s right behind me. Obviously, this is not a place you want to be in, and I'm kind of screwed either way. Now all I'm going to do is try and force an overshoot. I'm about to hit the air brake. There it is. I hit the air brake and just going to throttle all the way back to 0, see if I can get these guys to fly past me. And it seems to be working, but it's a Saab-105, and you can't turn, so once they are past you, you're not going to really be able to follow them, so you better hit that first shot. And at this point, I've accepted my fate, so I'm just going to pitch up, lose all my speed, and try and hit the shot of the G91. Get the crit, which is alright, I guess. He doesn't die. Unfortunate. Now I'm basically sitting still. MiG-15's flying up super fast, trying to hit me. I somehow stay out of his guns. I should have died right there, absolutely. But he's in front of me now, and I actually get an opportunity to get a shot off. But I don't hit a single one. Quite unfortunate. I still don't really know how I'm alive. I won't be for much longer though, because now I'm very slow. The G91 behind me is going to sit there and I just can do absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, side note, this thing seems like it's kinda tanky. It seems to take a lot of shots before it actually goes down. He finally sets me on fire, and that's gonna be it for me. Spray desperately in case he ended up in front of me, but he ends up crashing into the ground anyway. Apparently he was damaged because one of my teammates that's no longer in the game got a kill for it. Good for that guy, I guess. Anyway, I hit the ground, and that's it, finally. As you can see, when you get into a bad spot in the Saab-105, there's very little chance you're actually going to get out of it when there's someone who somewhat knows what they're doing. I actually have quite a few other games that are recorded that I wanted to put in the video, but if I did that, the video would probably be like half an hour long, and I don't want to make a half an hour long video. Well, it's because of that, and also a lot of the other ones I was getting were exactly the same. I was just preying on people who weren't looking at me, or were slow, or just didn't know what they were doing, which basically for you guys, that just means you'd be watching like the same game that looks different 3 times. So I won't do that to y'all. So how do I genuinely feel about the Saab-105? Well, it's not a good plane, but for whatever reason, I was actually having a pretty good time playing it. I found myself getting the game I needed to put in the video, and I was just like, you know, I'll play one more game. And I did that like several times. And a surprisingly large amount of those games ended up being games that I would be okay with putting in my video to show as like, you know, the good match in the video. Okay, I hope everybody that really wanted me to play the Saab-105 got what they wanted out of this video. This is definitely one of my more requested videos on my channel, especially on stream. I get a lot of people asking for the 105 on stream. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. What do you guys think about the Saab-105? I personally don't think it's very good, but I found myself kind of enjoying it, which was surprising. Also, it do be looking kind of goofy. Alright, that's gonna be it for me today. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.